Welcome back to the BJJ Fanatics podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Ford. My guest today is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's also a black belt in Judo. He has a popular YouTube channel called Zombie Proof BJJ where he has tons of videos breaking down techniques. He's got a huge following on social media as well. He's also the CEO of Supernatural Survival Gear, which is a Jiu-Jitsu based apparel line. There we go. And he's also the owner and head instructor of Zombie Proof Jiu-Jitsu Academy in Cape Breton, Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to be joined today for the third time in my podcasting career by my good friend Kent Peters. How are you today, Kent?
I'm great. I didn't realize that the camera was switched when I'm looking at it. So,
I was wondering where you're pointing to the box. It's like, yeah, that's a nice box, bro. That's really cool that you're proud of your boxes.
The gear's in the box too, right? So it makes it that's what you're buying. Now I'm not sure which way to point. You're buying the boxes.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, you look like you're in like a warehouse setting. You're in your house though, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm still like people when people message me, they're like, "Hey, if there's anybody I can talk to," I'm like, "It's just me, man." I mean, unless my 12-year-old counts, she calls herself the CEO of the company, so.
You should just like hang up the phone, and have different accents for different departments that don't exist.
Oh, dude.
Just have
I do that on like some emails and stuff. If it's like a mean email, I just answer it with like Chad or Johnny. I'm like, were you talking to Johnny? Yeah, no, he's a bit of a dick. Here, let me help you.
that Chad guy's a real asshole. Yeah, but he handles all of our...
Fuck that Chad guy.
Yeah. Dude, catch us up. It's been like 3 years since you've been on the show, man. So catch us up. What have you been up to in the last few years?
Did I have back surgery last time we talked?
No.
Okay, so I've had back surgery and knee surgery, and I feel amazing.
Do you? Yeah.
Everything's fixed. Yeah, so I'm rolling really well again. I got 60 or 70% of my meniscus scraped out, and I blew my back out in 2001 showing off at the gym. Like, that's why you're not supposed to go to the gym. You're supposed to join jiu-jitsu. Yeah. I was squatting, and I had too much weight on the bar, and I just folded forward, and I blew a bunch of discs out. And the sciatica just kept getting worse, and I didn't know anybody to talk to. Like, I didn't have any doctor friends, so I wasn't sure what the solutions were. I just kind of dealt with the pain. And sometimes the sciatica in my leg was so bad, like it was, when you're sitting on the toilet too long, that pins and needles, your leg goes numb. 24 hours a day, dude. It was just horrendous. It's funny because a lot of my videos, my partner Keenan had to fake me through it. So like there's some points in the video back before I got my back surgery where I'd have to rehearse with him before and be like, okay, at this point you got to pull me forward because my back just didn't work. It's Dude, comedy.
Sounds like a Weekend at Bernie's type of situation for.
Well, that's what it was like, man. I swear, like I owe my boy Keenan so much because he worked me through a whole bunch of positions that I had no business playing. And I finally made really good friends with a doctor. He's one of my blue belts, actually. We've been doing private lessons together, and he just talked me into going and getting back surgery. I went in and got a microdiscectomy. So if any of you guys are suffering with back issues, feel free to message me. I'm here to help. I got it done. The doctor had like mixed ratings. Like half the people were like, "Oh, the man's a butcher." I'm like, fucking perfect. Like he's literally going to butcher he's going in to chop shit up, bro. So I got it done and he saved my life. Like it was pretty cool. And I guess my back, like I can show you pictures later. My back was so bad that he put me third on a list of like hundreds of patients because of my age and my fitness level. I shouldn't have been as fucked up as I was. And the only two people above me in the surgery list, neither of them could walk. So that's how bad my back had gotten. Jeez. And I got the surgery and I feel like I have a new back. And like I'll never like squat heavy weight again, but it's a game changer. I feel amazing.
That's incredible. Dude, I'm so happy that went well for you, man.
Me too.
We talk a lot about injuries in jiu-jitsu. We always talk about like knees and shoulders and things like that. But dude, the back, that's the one that shuts down everything. Like you can't do anything anymore.
Yeah. Well, and that's like, I thought my competitive career, I'm still not going to go compete again. I don't mean it like that, but I thought even giving my students hard rolls career was over, because like my back was just so bad. And then I got into I don't do pills, I don't do drugs, I don't drink, I don't do any of that shit, but jiu-jitsu was my drug. So like I'd limp into class and then I'd start rolling and I'd start from graveyard guard, like I'm just laying there. And then as my back would warm up, I'd be rolling and the adrenaline would start going, the endorphins would start going. And during the hour I'm rolling, I forget my back is fucked. Right now, like I had to cut out barambolos. I had to cut out a lot of inversion shit that I used to love to do, but I would forget that my back was sore. So I'd roll for 2 hours. My cardio was fine. Just there was positions I couldn't do. And then I'd have to get helped off the mat, you know? And then as the adrenaline wears off again, I'm sore as shit. And then I'd just keep repeating it. And I thought that was my life. So the surgery that I was terrified of getting, it saved my life, you know?
Yeah, that really is a scary prospect when you rely on teaching. One of my good buddies, Kurt Osiander, just got like double hip surgery, and he's been trying to kind of bounce back from that. He's doing better than he was, but he's talking about dude the same thing. Like I basically limp onto the mat. I can move around okay, but then people have to help me off the mat, and that's
it's a terrible way to live.
Oh man, so I'm really happy that went smoothly for you, dude. How's the schooling in Nova Scotia growing overall, man? How's the growth of the academy?
Good. It's steady, and we're getting other clubs in Cape Breton now too, which is great. Like we recently started, I got in touch with the other two main clubs, and like Cape Breton, the area I'm in is small, and we're 5 hours from the closest club. So there's two other clubs, and I got in touch with the two main guys, and I was like, listen, why don't we start having basically inter-club tournaments between the three of us, just so our guys don't have to travel the 5 hours, 6 hours plus to go, you know, get some good competition rolls in. So we started doing that, and we did one right before Christmas at my club, and I ended up raising $1,500 for the local food bank. So it was great,
dude. Hell yeah, that's awesome. I love seeing the growth of jiu-jitsu in like more isolated places like Nova Scotia. Like I remember you were talking to me before about what it takes sometimes for people to travel there, and there's a ferry, I think you said that you have to.
No, we got a bridge to cross. There's a ferry from Newfoundland, but there is like we're on an island, and we have a bridge that was just built. It's a man-made, like, you know, passway. It's called the Causeway, and it was man-made because our island. So we're weird here. Like, I don't know if you do it where you're from, but if someone asks us if we're from Nova Scotia, we always say no, we're from Cape Breton.
Yeah, right.
And it's the same. Like, it is the province of Nova Scotia. It's just we call ourselves Cape Bretoners. But it's funny you said that, because I offered a $500 grand prize to the open weight winner, and we couldn't even do. We had nobody travel down right before Christmas for a $500 chance, and it was just crazy to me. Like, one of the local guys won, and he ended up donating half of it back to the charity, which was really great of him. But nobody. It was just, I'm going to give you $500. You guys are literally traveling and competing for plastic medals, and like, you know, I'm going to give you $500 in cash, and people did not travel down. It was wild.
The trip. That's so crazy, man. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
But no, it really is cool. It is cool seeing all the pockets of the world that jiu-jitsu is reaching and growing, and people like yourself that are leading the way in their communities, man. It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I just love it. And I don't care when people start. Like, I don't care what club you go to. There's two other great clubs here. As long as you're doing jiu-jitsu, you know, I think everybody in the new year should just do jiu-jitsu. Just start and join and enjoy yourself. You're going to love it.
Yeah, totally. Well, plus the other thing too now is like now with the you know, the internet and social media and everything, you for example have the ability to teach anybody in the world from anywhere with your now with Fanatics, and also with your Instagram. And we were laughing off air. You have your most popular video on TikTok is not even jiu-jitsu related. Tell us about that.
Nah, man.
Dude, that was hilarious.
So my wife owns horses. We have a horse barn. Yeah. So like yesterday, I had to not go to work last night because we had a little power outage. So I have to, you know, help at the barn anytime we have storms. So all winter I end up missing a lot. We got 44 horses. So we have a lot of hay. And you know those big round white marshmallows you see on the side of the roads when you're driving through countries?
Yeah.
Like countryside. So that's hay, right? It's just called wrapped hay. So I made a video on TikTok, and it's just like how annoying this is. All I did was cut open the bale of hay. Yeah. And the first one went viral. The second one went viral. I have 11 million, 8 million. The biggest one is 27.5 million. Might even be more than that now. Cutting open fucking road marshmallows.
So great.
And dude, it's like I spend how many years making jiu-jitsu videos for you fuckers. And this is what goes viral. Like, for all the shit I've been giving you guys for years, this is what goes viral. And not just once. There's there's like 10 videos that have over 1 million views of cutting open fucking road marshmallows. I got interviewed by the local, like, fucking, dude, I'm on TV. I got interviewed by two different TV stations.
It's like, hey, I've also got an apparel line and a jujitsu skills that I've literally broken my back for and had to get, you know what I mean? And like, and here I am cutting hay, and that's what everyone, that's what gets you millions.
And you know the worst part? If I was in America, I would have access to that creator fund. I would never have to work again.
That doesn't exist.
So because I have no. So I don't know if it's Trudeau's fault. I'm going to blame Trudeau because I hate him. But it's somebody's fault, right? Like, so we don't have the creator fund, so I get no money off those views. And I would just cut open. I got another fucking 400 bales over there right now. I'd just cut 3 bales a day and post 3, you know. I would be retired. I'd never work again. I'd let every horse free. Me and the wife would just buy hay every year and then just let it rot in the backyard.
That's incredible. Dude, there has to be like a property in Kansas or something that you can pick up for cheap. Open an LLC.
I tried everything. I went on, I found one of those online post office boxes. So I have a post office box and an address in Las Vegas. I set up like a PayPal and I tried everything that the internet told me that I could make money and like have the US thing. None of it worked. So if there's someone out there who knows how, I'll give you a portion of the money if you help me hook it up.
All right, we're gonna figure this out, man. I'm gonna get on that tonight. We gotta figure. We gotta get you cutting. We have to have a dedicated zombie-proof hay cutting channel, bro.
It would be amazing. I would like. Listen, I've been poor. I've been middle. I've never been rich. I'm waiting. Right. So if it's cutting open hay that gets me there, I'm fucking ready for this.
What is it about that? Is it just satisfying visually to see the hay?
That's what everybody comments. Everybody comments road marshmallow. Oh, that's what's inside of those, and oh, so satisfying. And it's just like, it's crazy. I don't understand. Because I don't even listen. No hate on TikTok. I don't really watch it. I don't like being on the app. I don't use it. I don't use many things though. I don't know. I'm not very tech savvy. I know it seems like I should be at this point, but I'm not. I use basic editing stuff. I put my videos on pretty raw. Like lately I've been adding music to the videos on Instagram. And even that, like, because of that time I got deleted by the UFC, I'm still nervous about putting music on videos. And so I don't know what people see in the hay cutting videos, but I mean, if I ever start making money off it, I want everybody to watch them. So that's good.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's a weird world out there, man, especially with like content creation. Like there's been times where you see something that has taken off. And I'm always happy to see anybody succeed or whatever. But sometimes I'm just like, you know, like I've worked like, 40 hours in a week and I finish my time on the podcast, and I'll sit down on Friday and I'll see a dude that's like, he's got a channel where he like races marbles down a sidewalk.
Yep.
And it's got like
20
million views. I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, good for him. But
I like that Asian guy who he started out doing like weird stuff, like he'd had stuff clipped to his nipples and then he'd pull like he'd do weird shit. And now he's like mega famous. And I'm like, fucking dude deserves it. Yeah. Like that's funny shit.
He's a cultural icon. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I think it's amazing. I've never had so I got 90,000 followers ish on Instagram. I got 70, I think, on YouTube, and I've never had a viral video. And then fucking TikTok, 150,000.
That's amazing.
Over hay. It's like, come on. Just guys, pick one of my videos and watch it on repeat. Like, do me a solid.
That's incredible, man. Well, dude, you just keep it going, man. Your content that you give to the jiu-jitsu community is awesome. Everybody enjoys it. I love your that shit won't work Wednesdays videos too. Those are always great.
I got to start doing them again.
I know. They were great, man.
I know. I like them. And you never run out of stuff because there's always something that's so fucking dumb people think it just won't work, right?
Yeah, you can always just like reference like old professional wrestling videos and just figure out a way to make something work. I saw a guy get tapped with a Boston crab, like a proper Boston crab the other day. And I was like, dude.
It wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, it's like some of that stuff is transferable for sure.
Well, it's like the first time someone gets tapped with a smother and they're like, yeah, fuck my life. Like, what just happened?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Man, did you still eating at that fast food spot you were crazy about for a while up in
the noodle place? No, I was putting on too much weight, bro.
Yeah.
I ballooned up to, well, because of all the injuries and then a few surgeries, I think I was up around like 210. And when I used to compete, I'd compete at like 170. So 210 was the most I've been ever. And no, I'm back under 200 again, which is nice. Yeah. I'm training again, which is nice. Yeah.
You're looking good. Yeah, you're looking healthy, man, for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it sucks finding a good food spot that makes you blow up is always rough because you really, like, when you start getting back on track again, you just, all you can think about is just like, fuck, man, I really want another plate.
I know, and I love noodles, man. Like, I eat a lot of ramen. I still do. I try not to eat as much, but I mean, I'm okay with like one a day. I just kind of say, oh, it's fine. I'm adding hamburger to it. It's good. It's fine.
Yeah. I imagine. How do noodles sit before training? Is that like an okay thing to eat before training, or does
so it's funny. It's funny you asked that. So the spicy noodles that you were talking about, the place that I was completely obsessed with.
Yeah.
I've thrown them up 3 times so far.
That's great.
3 times. I'm talking sprint off the mat, make it to the garbage beside my desk, and throw up while my students are watching. Throw up. Like I never made it to the washroom, not once. And they're so spicy that on the way up, it's like battery acid. It's not as good as on the way down. Yeah, so, and I'll still eat them. It didn't scar me or anything.
It's not going to turn you away.
It's just, they do not sit well. You got to eat at least 4 hours before class if you're going to have that. But, yeah, that's rough. My students at this point, like, it keeps happening in the same no-gi classes, too, because I'd always eat it on Monday, Wednesday, because that's when I take my little girls. And, yeah, my students just fucking laugh at me at this point.
Yeah, you have to wonder if some of the cayenne pepper though sanitizes the mats a little bit. Cayenne pepper has to kill staph, right? Staph can't smell pepper, can it?
I hope so. You know, it's funny. Like, so we had all those weird Canadian Corona rules, right?
Oh yes, I remember last time you were on. Yes.
So we had a Corona inspector come in, and she was lovely, man. I know she's just doing her job and whatever. But by the end of it, she was so impressed with our cleaning methods because we were cleaning like crazy before. Like, we have staff, impetigo, all these fucking things that you can get in a jiu-jitsu club that our cleaning methods were like above and beyond what was required before Corona even existed, right? So, yeah, I don't know if cayenne pepper is as good as the antimicrobial stuff, but I'm sure it's okay.
It's the vegan option. It's the vegan option.
Yeah,
it's good. Yeah. It's good that the inspector showed up on a day that you didn't have noodles and Ralph all over the place, though. Too. Well,
it's good she showed up on a day we didn't have an illegal class.
Oh yeah, true.
We never shut down, eh? Like, I don't know if we were talking about it, but we had a secret knock. It was just thump, 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 and then you had to wait for a few seconds and then thump again, and we would not open the door. We didn't unlock the door for 2 years because they were going to give me a $10,000 fine. Like, that's per person was what the threat was. Now, I don't know if they're like following through on any of those bullshit threats, but now that Corona is like doesn't exist again, I guess we can all be normal, right? I had Corona 3 times, and none of them were as bad as my last sinus infection.
Really?
And I get like, guys, I get like man sick. Like, my wife, that poor thing, she'll get sick, and then I'll get like a tiny little flu, and I'll be like, I'm dying, please help me. You know, and Corona never once made me feel that way. I didn't even get a man cold with Corona, and I had it 3 times.
I never got it, man. At least I don't think I did. Some people don't have any symptoms, they say, but I don't.
Yeah, I really didn't have many symptoms, so you wouldn't have known.
Well, dude, I'm glad I'm glad everything's back to normal now. Because for jiu-jitsu, was that a rough patch? I had a buddy of mine.
It was crazy.
I had a buddy of mine that had just gotten his black belt, had been saving up money for like 6 years or something to open a school, buy his mats.
That's heartbreaking.
And then he opened the place up, and two months later, they had to shut everything down. He completely lost his school. It totally sucks. But and then we were talking about.
See, that's the kind of shit we should have GoFundMe for.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
You know, that's the kind of story that sucks. Guys who deserved everything they worked for, and then Corona shutting down businesses left and right. Like, I wouldn't have survived if it wasn't for Fuck. If it wasn't for supernatural,
there you go.
This is not okay. If it wasn't for supernatural survival gear, I wouldn't have survived Corona. I really wouldn't have.
Yeah.
And even the beginning of that, like the first month, nobody was buying gear because everybody was like, fuck, we don't train, right? Nobody anywhere was training, so I wasn't selling anything. And I was like, man, like, I'm going to have to go get a job at a Walmart or something.
Yeah, it was definitely rough, man. For the people listening to the audio portion, the audio version of the show, we got a camera here and it's inverted. So every time Kent has one of his shirts hanging behind his looks like his left shoulder, but he keeps pointing over his right because it's inverted. He's pointing at a stack of boxes with like zip ties in them. And so
driving me nuts. No, like look. It's the
it's
beautiful.
a rash guard. Oh, okay, it's the plastic. I looked at the zip ties from a distance.
Yeah.
That's funny. Well, dude, yeah, the other thing was rough is we did a lot of restaurants went under. So I'm glad that like a lot of the places that we like to eat are still open, and your noodles, you still have your fire noodle, your vomit noodles every couple of weeks.
Yeah,
dude, I think the worst thing I've ever eaten before training was I was a white belt still, and I'd just gotten off of work. I was rushing. I was late to class, so I swung into a Subway that was across the street from the academy. And I don't know what prompted me to do this, but I decided I was just in the mood for the crab seafood salad Subway sandwich. And bro, within the first round, one of my buddies passed my guard, got to knee on belly, and I had to like urgently excuse myself from the mats. That was that was a rough one. Yeah.
That is unreal.
I guess I was thinking that like the yoga mat materials in the bread would have absorbed the seafood.
I'm still shocked when I hear that because that fucking bread is lovely. That bread is so good. I could buy just that bread and eat it, and now I know it's like not even real fucking food. It's like I still want to eat it. I can't help it. I still want to eat that bread.
I know. Well, I think they've since phased that, whatever that chemical or whatever that compound was, they phased it out now. But it is wild to know that up until around like 2014-ish or whatever it was, that Subway bread and yoga mats shared a mutual ingredient.
But like it shouldn't surprise us. Like, have you ever heard of Champex?
No. Is it shampoo?
No, Champex. Just Google it. No, it's that stop smoking aid.
Oh,
so people used to take Champex, and it's a Pfizer thing. You know, fuck Pfizer. So Champex is a Pfizer product, and I think 2018 they found out it gives you cancer, so they had to pull it off the shelves. And it's like it's for quitting smoking. Like you're quitting smoking because you don't want fucking cancer, and then the product's giving you cancer. But it was on the shelves for so many fucking years, and we just accepted it was safe because Pfizer loves us and cares about us, and it cares about our well-being.
Yeah, that's horrible, dude. Unbelievable. Yeah. It's such a weird world we live in, man, because there's so many things like that where you think you're eating the right way. Like it happens all the time with like organic food. Like people eat like particular types of foods and they think, oh, okay, this is like the healthier version that I should be eating.
Yeah,
and then you find out that there's like a process that they do to bring down costs, and it's terrible for your health at the end. Yeah.
The whole thing is crazy. Like I don't want people thinking I'm a conspiracy theorist because I don't think I am. I might be compared to some people, but I mean, how can you really trust anything anybody says when over and over and over again, 5 years later, everybody's admitting, yeah, I was wrong, or yeah, I lied, like flat out, I made up those stats, or we thought it was safe because we did one trial, like all these people that are coming out, and then they have no real accountability for any of it. But like, how can you trust anybody, right? Like, I know it sounds so conspiracy theory-ish, but I mean, the best thing you can do for yourself forever is just going to be eating healthy. And I know I'm drinking a Monster while saying that, but okay. But in fairness, I don't do crack. So it's okay that I drink 2 Monsters a day. It's not, I feel like that's a trade-off. I don't do crack. I drink some Monsters.
I believe there was a study where they compared crack to Monsters, and if I remember correctly, crack was worse for you than Monsters, if I remember correctly.
As of right now, that's what they say now. Let's wait 5 years and we'll find out.
Turns out that there's actually like 5% cocaine in Monster Energy. That's where the real kick comes from. They told you it was taurine and caffeine. It
makes sense why I want one so fucking bad when I wake up. I get it now.
Dude, you got some new ink. I'm looking at you here. Do you have any new ink, or is that all?
No, it's because I'm always wearing hoodies in my videos.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
Yeah, I know. I don't even know what arm I'm showing you. I'm mostly covered.
That's awesome.
I like tattoos because I'm milky white.
Yeah.
Like I'm a really milky dude.
They pop,
like I have two little girls, and one of my girls is like milky white, and my wife was like, "What the fuck, bro?" And I was like, "I know. Between the high blood pressure and the tattoos, you couldn't tell. I'm actually a ginger." So, you know,
that's awesome, dude. How much? I'm actually getting a new one tomorrow. I'm getting I got a new one at the end of last year. I'm getting another one added tomorrow. How much time do you take off between training and tattoos? Like when you get inked up?
Oh, no. Listen, you don't want to ask me these questions.
Okay. Yeah.
I am a terrible influence when it comes to stuff like this. I train damn near crippled. I tore my AC joint. Like, I don't know if you can see my collarbone floating. Yeah. I tore my AC joint. I tried to stay on the mats. My students had to drag me to the ambulance, or not the ambulance, the hospital. I don't take any time off. So after I got, I think 7 hours on this arm. I wrapped it in saran wrap and then taped it with hockey tape and then put on a long sleeve rash guard and then a hoodie and went and trained. And that same day, I just...
No bad effects. It didn't fade it. It didn't do anything.
I didn't lose any color or anything. The one that, I don't know if you can see, the one that I lost the most color for, I used to be a welding inspector back in my previous life.
Yeah.
And I fell off, like I just got the tattoo and I fell off of a pipe that I was standing on and I caught myself on another pipe and it scraped the whole thing and it pulled out. Yeah. That's the only time I've ever lost anything, other than I lost some color this summer in my chest because my daughter's horse bit me.
Your daughter's horse? Okay, I got to hear the story of this now. What happened?
Oh, for fuck's sake. So a few years ago, my daughter started barrel racing. She's 12 now, okay? So she's really young. A few years ago, my daughter started barrel racing, and she was scared. She's a scared kid, you know? She's 9, 10. She's doing the beginner stuff, and she doesn't have fast time. She's enjoying it. You can tell she loves it, right? And my wife is so good at horse riding. My wife is an amazing coach. She's teaching her. So then this year, my daughter just fucking boom. She's running like adult times at 12 years old. Wow. And this horse she has is a fucking prick, right? Like the horse has kicked her in the knee. It tried to kick me. It bites when you're trying to get everything all tightened up. And, but she's running like adult times. So we put her in the Ram Racing Series, and she came 9th out of like 40 fucking adults. She was the youngest competitor. She's 12, bro. Dude. She's fucking 12. She came 9th. And I know 9th, it's like, it's not first, but she's fucking 12.
Yeah, not a 40 right? people. Yeah.
Dude, she's running adult times. Like, so this horse, any other horse that would have did this, like it bit me so hard on the chest. Like I lost a chunk of fucking like color on the tattoo. And I'm like, yeah, for the fucking time she's running, we'll keep the horse, right? Like, I was holding the horse by the fucking head, and my daughter was just getting the saddle all tightened up. And for the saddle, you got to make sure it's on good. So you pull the strap one last time, and then the horse, some horses, they get nippy during that. It's usually not mean, but this horse is fucking just a dick, right? The horse turns its head and fucking bites me like an inch from my nipple. Like I could have been a one nipple man. Yeah. And I cocked my hand up and I was going to punch the horse right in the fucking face. And I didn't. I punched the horse trailer next to us. And I think I broke my knuckle. It's like it got like indented and shit. But it was just, you know, like I don't want to be one of those fucking monster drinking chads that punch drywall. But I was so fucking angry, man. But then my kid went out and she fucking dusted a bunch of adults. So I'm like, we'll keep the horse, right?
Dude, I love that you said you don't want to be a monster drinking chat. You got a monster in your hand and you just told a story about nearly punching a horse but punching a wall and said, dude, you know what's funny though? That's got to be an awkward visit to the doctor when you arrive with bite marks very close proximity to your nipples. That's got to be, you know, because they're having all kinds of theories about what really happened to you, you know?
Well, dude, my doctor thinks I'm crazy anyway, right? Like I went in for blood work because with or without him, I was starting TRT. Okay, right? Like, so I had a thyroid issue years ago. I thought I had, you know, when you go on Dr. Google and you're like typing in your symptoms and you're like, I get dizzy when I stand up. Some things are too bright for me. My eyes are this. And I type in all my symptoms and it's like, okay, I have MS. Right?
You got leprosy. Yeah.
So I go to the doctor and I'm like, okay, so I got MS. And he's like, we got to send you for blood work, bro. So he sends me in for blood work. And then he calls me, and when you get a call from the doctor like the day of, you're like, fuck, I got cancer, right?
Something bad.
So he's like, man, your thyroid just doesn't work. Like it doesn't, your thyroid is not on.
Wow.
You have hypothyroidism. So that's the one that makes people like fat, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like hyperthyroidism is when you can't put weight on. Yeah. Hypothyroidism is when you can't get the weight off. And I've always been like thick, like I'm not fat. Well, you guys have seen every shape of me in my videos, right? Like I wear fucking Valetudo shorts. It's like, y'all know what I look like, right? Yeah. So I'm like, fuck. So hypo, I should have had like a raging 8-pack is what you're telling me. So I felt cheated. So I'm like, well, I'm fucking starting steroids. Like I'm 41, right? I don't care. I got 2 beautiful girls. If I don't have another kid, I would have a whole baseball team, but at this point, I'm 41. If I don't have another kid, no big deal. So one way or another, I'm getting on the fucking juice. So I go in to get the blood work, and he's like, I don't think you should. It has so many side effects. So now I just take them myself. I don't even care. But I only take a low dose. Like I take like a TRT dose. But it's another reason. Like I don't compete. I don't give a fuck. I'm not doing it for strength. I feel like I'm 17 again. I feel like, I'm 41. And I'm rolling with kids, and I feel like I can handle, I don't have any muscle pain. All my pain is like actual bone and ligament pain. I don't have any muscle pain in my body. And yeah, I'll do steroids for the rest of my life.
Wow. So when you say you're not talking about TRT, then you're talking anabolic, you're taking anabolic steroids.
Well, kind of, yes, but it's like super low dose.
Yeah. So it's giving you the same benefits you'd get from just taking TRT.
Yeah, man. And that's why, like, I'm trying to talk my doctor into it, but we're not at that here yet. Like the doctors here aren't as, oh yeah, you should do TRT. I'm making an appointment. I'm going in because I do, like, if I can get the prescription for it, then I won't have to buy it myself anymore. You know what I mean? Like that's just the way the Canadian healthcare works. So I'm going to try to talk him into it, but we'll see how it goes. Like right now, though, I'm just on a really low dose, and I've been on it since 2020. And I love it. I feel great. I'm not super educated with it. I'm not one of those like chemists. I just take the dose that a close buddy of mine told me to take. So if you guys, and I've talked to a few people that are really educated on it, and they've been giving me lots of great advice. So I'm always open for these conversations too. Like fire me messages anytime. I'm always here to chat.
Yeah. What are the health risks at that dosage that your doctor warned you of?
Well, so he was talking more in general. Like he wasn't talking about the low dose that I planned on taking. He was talking about like, liver failure and if you get all big and bulky, but I don't do it for those reasons. I don't even work out like that. Right? Like I barely lift heavy weights, so I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it so I have the testosterone level of a 20-year-old. Yep.
Yeah, so it's mostly like for just recovery and things like that. Yeah, that's interesting.
That's it, man. Like I can't speak for, because I might not even be doing the correct dosage for what I require, right? Like that's one of the downsides to kind of doing it myself, going at it alone, being the pioneer or whatever. That sounds stupid, but you know what I mean? Like it's getting to the point where a lot of men are starting to accept the fact that my testosterone dipped at a certain age. I do need help, right? Because sadness comes along with having low testosterone. Like there's all kinds of horrible things that happen to your body when your testosterone starts failing you. So I'm just doing a really low dose, but man, I feel great. So I don't have any side effects with it yet, but I would like to get on a prescribed dose instead of, going at it alone. But it is what it is. I'll take what I can get for now.
Yeah. Do you think that there's a chance you might switch over to a TRT if you're getting the same results?
Yes, for sure. Because I still don't like, I know I got like tattoos and shit, but I still don't like needles. I would much prefer,
Yeah, because I'm not. I'll admit I don't know a ton about steroids, about anabolics and things like that.
Me either.
Yeah, but the what I do know is that supposedly TRT is supposed to be in the long run the healthier option. So I was just curious if that was something you would switch to if you were getting the same.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. No, I'm not committed to anything, man. Like that's one of the big things about me, and this isn't even bragging. I'm just saying. I'm very willing to change my opinion on anything. if you give me data supporting what it is that you're saying. You know, like I'm not gospel for anything. Like if you tell me something and I'm like, yeah, you know, that makes sense, I'll completely change my opinion because that's the way it's supposed to be, you know? That's, you know, I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. I know there's a lot of hard-headed people that are, you know, they're just so committed. They're not willing to change their opinion on anything ever.
Yeah.
For me, man, I don't care. If you give me better information, I'll go with you.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm very much the same way, man. I try to not hold myself to any hard opinions that can't be changed with you know. I try to always keep in mind, dude, I could be wrong about everything that I think is right.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. Because we probably are. I mean, really, like, fuck, like nobody could really know everything, right? There's definitely stuff in our head that we just accepted, whether it was stuff that we got when we were younger or whatever, that, you know, maybe we're wrong. And I feel like stuff like that, having that opinion, it's why we'll continue to grow, you know, in the right directions.
Totally. Yeah. Well, I think jiu-jitsu did that a lot for me too, man. Like that's something that since I started training, like I thought, like it's like every guy, before you start jiu-jitsu, it's like, oh, I can fight. I know how to handle myself.
You're the toughest guy you've ever met.
Yeah. And then you have like a 116-pound computer programmer like sit on your chest and, you know, just do whatever, arm bars choking you, you know, they give you noogies.
It's a complete life changer, man. It's amazing. I wish I remembered the guy's name because I was doing traditional Japanese jiu-jitsu and a kickboxing club. This was before jiu-jitsu existed in my little town. And this dude was a blue belt, but he was a karate guy. So he was up in Cape Breton for a kickboxing competition. So the kickboxing club that I was training at, they had him do a jiu-jitsu seminar and like 7 of us attended. It was like nobody. And he was only a blue belt at the time. And I had a Gracie book. So I'm like, I'm at least a purple belt, right? Because I read through the Gracie book and I'm like, I know all these moves, right? I'm at least a purple belt. So I roll with him and he just fucking stone cold kills me. And then I'm like, I remember the words coming out of my mouth again. And he rolls with me again and he just kills me. And I remember saying again, he's like, bro, I got to roll with everybody. And I was like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
Like, and that was when it all changed, right? That's when I'm like, fuck, not only am I not a purple belt, like I'm not even a white belt.
Yeah.
And that was one of those eye openers for me where I really dove into jiu-jitsu. But that's the breaking point for some people. That's when some people are like, fuck this, I'm out, because their ego can't handle that.
Yeah, we used to have a filtration system at the school that I first started at. Her name was Mary Ellen Kano. She was a purple belt and she was a pro fighter, but she was like 125 pounds maybe, man. And they had what they called the Mary Ellen filter. So if someone came in and looked like a douchebag, they'd put you to roll with her first. And me, when I first started, I definitely looked like a douchebag. I was a punk. I had like a mohawk, and so like, oh, this guy's just gonna be one of these assholes that comes in and out and doesn't stick around. But then I rolled with her. And I mean, she just destroyed me. She just transitioned anywhere I went. I could overpower her physically because I was like 210 pounds at the time, maybe, and she was like 130, 125, 130. So I could muscle my way through things, but no matter where I went, she would transition to the next spot. So it was
that's like, unreal.
It was like having a squirrel attacking you, and like you can't grab the thing, and it's always, you know, it was just nuts. And so after getting tapped a couple times, I just sat there and I was just like, dude, how fucking cool is this? Like, dude, how cool is this? Like, and I guess a lot of people would storm out and just, you know, they wouldn't come.
And that's it. That's the 50-50 right there. Yeah. Like half the people say that was the coolest thing that ever happened to me. Yeah. And half the people say, no, bro, that must have been wrong. Yeah. I'm going to go back to the gym, you know? Yeah. And it sucks because I've seen a lot of people with potential come in and then they get like fucking murked and they're like, and not murked like hurt, right? You know, like my club is safe. I think a lot of the clubs that I've trained at are safe. It's rare that you meet like a dangerous fucking idiot. And then it comes down to the instructor too. Like I know the people in my club that roll a little hard. So as an instructor, I would never put them with someone new. Right. And even if I was busy doing something else, if I see them starting to fucking migrate towards each other, I'm like, nah. New guy, you go with him, right? Because the last thing you want to see is a new guy who doesn't understand how to tap using all his strength versus a fucking meathead, because we do all get like some type of meatheads, and maybe they're not malicious meatheads. Some people just roll really hard and don't know that they're potentially dangerous. I've had dangerous guys because they rely on momentum so much that sometimes they go right through moves. I've had dangerous guys because they just weren't super smart. You know, I've had dangerous guys because they're too athletic. You know, it's not always malicious. I've actually only met a handful of people that were actually dickheads. And well, it's funny you talk about the douchebag filter. I think it's a lot like with jujitsu. Jujitsu will typically get rid of the douchebag for you, you know, like they ego out. But it's like staff, where if a douchebag stays all the way and they end up being a black belt douchebag, they are basically MRSA, right? Like they're the fucking, they're the staff of staffs. They're the king staff, right?
Yeah. You got to get your pepper noodles on those guys, man. Yeah, that's
fuck.
Yeah, no, that's a very good way of putting it, man. And but at the end of the day, I think that's what that did for me, is it made me realize, okay, I was wrong about my abilities. What else in my life? What else am I wrong about? Yeah, so
yeah, man,
that's crazy, dude.
That's wicked.
Let me ask you this. You were talking about managing students and managing people who are rolling and protecting people that are newer from maybe someone that might roll a little harder. Generally speaking, how do you manage someone that, like you said, is not malicious, but that just maybe doesn't know their own strength, maybe uses momentum poorly?
It's hard, man. Like it's a lot of conversations. You have to have the heartbreaking conversations. You have to have the they might quit conversations. And I've had students that they grip too strong, so they end up hurting themselves. So my doctor, Blue Belt, is actually a perfect example of this. I love him. Like, I love him like a brother. Like, we've spent so much time together now that we have bonded in a lot of ways where, like, I thank him for me getting my back fixed, right? Because if he didn't get in my head, I wouldn't have got that surgery. And I had to say to him, like, bro, you're gripping every grip like it's the end of your life, right? And we'll roll for an hour, and then at the end of the roll, he's like, oh my God, I'm this, I'm sore, I'm that. And I'm like, I know you are, because you're fucking, everything you're doing, you're like the ultimate fucking warrior, bro, like shaking the fucking ropes. Like, and it was like, it's a hard conversation for me to have because I love this guy, right? So I have to tell you, if you don't stop gripping that way, you're going to continue hurting yourself over and over and over again. It's never going to get better, right? How did the people on American Idol get to American Idol at the end when you got those guys that can't sing and they became those big jokes, right? Like, remember William Hong?
Yeah.
She bangs.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
How did he get there? Right? Like, he had friends that were saying, yeah, you sound great. And that's the bad part. Like, those friends lied to him in a way where maybe he did make a little bit of money, but they lied to him in a way where he became a fucking joke online. And listen, I'm not laughing at the guy. I like the confidence it takes to be able to do something like that.
Yeah.
But the idea I'm saying is, without your friends and family lying to you, telling you it's okay, you're doing great, like that's hurting you in the long run. Right? Like, that's going to send you down roads that you never needed to travel. If I never told him to do those grips, what if someday he rolls with someone who is kind of spastic and he's taking those hardcore grips, so they think, oh, he's going 10, I'll go 10 too. And then he breaks his hand and he can't give people pain injections, right? Like, sometimes you have to have those conversations with your students. And I've done it so many times, and some have taken it really well. Some haven't. You know, and that's just part of the risk of being an instructor. But I'll also still handpick matches. Like, you roll with you roll with you, because I don't think this guy and this guy should really ever roll together. You know, and when I'm injured, it's fucking my body, my choice, man. I won't roll with anybody who weighs my weight or heavier. I have rehab rolls. I have certain guys like my boy Rico, who I did one of my Fanatics videos with. He's one of my rehab rolls, and he knows that, but it's because he's 140 pounds. Like him trying as hard as he can, it would take a freak accident for him to hurt me. So if I'm really injured, I roll with him, and he's a purple belt. He's awesome. Like, I watch him fuck up 200 pounders. That's not what it is. It's just weight wise, I know that even if he falls, the risk of me getting hurt is very low. Right. So I think, like, and I tell people that, and I'm not trying to make a joke about the whole my body, my choice thing. I tell people it is your fucking body. It is your choice. Yeah. You can say no. You're a grown ass man. And if I didn't like the way you rolled, I'd be like, nah, man, I don't want to roll with you today. And then I'll just go roll with someone else. And then you can have a hissy fit about it if you want. But as an instructor, I support that with my students. Like, I will never be like, roll with him or fucking else. If you don't want to roll with somebody, I'm not going to be the one making you. You know, it's just, at the end of the day, like, you're doing jiu-jitsu for fun. And I know everybody has different reasons for jiu-jitsu. And even my club, we have some hardcore competitors. I wouldn't want to see a hardcore competitor versus someone who's just doing it for fun and then it go in a bad direction because, you know, the hardcore competitor goes a little too hard. Even rolling with MMA fighters, that can be difficult because they're so fucking athletic. Like, I remember my first super fight with an MMA guy. He was taking collar ties, and I was like, is he hitting me? Like, am I being punched right now? Yeah. Because the level of athleticism is it's just different. You know, I'm at a this, and he's at a this every time he trains because he has to be, because eventually he's going to be against another guy out of that. Like, he's not training for me. He's training for this dude. So, yeah, like, there's levels, and as an instructor, I do feel the need to police it. I don't go with the whole old school, let's all go in there and kill each other kind of thing. I preach safety. I'm hardcore safety. I will kick someone out if they are unsafe. I don't need your money like that. You know, I want everybody to be happy and healthy. And if anybody ever did become a problem in my club, I would kick them the fuck out.
That's awesome. That's a great standpoint, man, for sure. Let me ask you this. For someone out there listening who maybe doesn't have the confidence or the assertiveness to tell another person, hey, I don't want to roll with you. What advice would you give? Like, if a student came to you and said, hey, Kent, look, man, like, this guy's bigger than me.
Message me, I'll message your coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seriously. Message me on Instagram. Tell me about it. I've had people message me that their husbands were abusive. I've had people message me that they wanted to quit their job. I've had people message me about health issues. The messages that I get are fucking insane. And I'm here for it. I'm like, dude, message me, right? If you feel uncomfortable talking to someone in your club, message me, give me your coach's Instagram. I'll message your coach. Cause I think now that I got like so many followers, I get like priority, like my messages get like pushed through. Yeah. I'll message your coach and I'll have a genuine heart to heart with them about retention and how important it is to keep your students safe. And I will help change your life. I mean, like, I'm not saying I'm like, you know, greater. I don't mean it like that, but I'm here for you. I think all coaches should be on this exact same train. Student base is like an iceberg, and the competitors are going to be that teeny tiny little bit on top. The base under is what keeps your fucking gym open, and they're the ones that you need to protect. And at the end of the day, my body, my choice. Like, these guys shouldn't have to roll with anybody they don't want to, and they should be protected by them, you know, by the other people on the mat. They should be protected by their coach. I have students who will call out hard rolls, and I think that's awesome because that means that the gym culture that I have created is correct. You know, like, these guys are going too hard. I don't have to open my mouth, and I will see one of my boys like Scott be like, guys, cool it the fuck down. And he means it from like his soul, right? Like, my students want everybody to be safe at the end of the day. And that's part of the culture that I wanted at my gym. And I think every instructor should want that, because at the end of the day, if all of your competitors left, you'd still be alive. Your club would still exist, right? But if all of your fucking 9-to-5 dads left, if all your computer programmers that just want to go beat up Paul the dentist on a Tuesday class because their life sucks, if they left, your fucking club is out the door. Competition clubs barely exist because they have trouble paying the bills. Yep. Right? Like, you need the guys like me, the guys who just want to relax, the guys who do jiu-jitsu because they love it. Like, I'm not saying I'm the ideal student, but if I was looking for a student, I'd look for me. I'd look for my boy Steve. I'd look for my guy Scott. Like, these are target students. They want to relax because they had a hard day at work, and this is how they stay fit, and the gym is boring. You know, like, they're the people you want to keep safe. So I know I kind of rambled on there, but if you are nervous about talking to the person, message me. I will talk to your instructor, and without you getting shit on, unless your instructor's a fucking douchebag, I will make it so you never have to roll with that person again.
That's awesome. That's really cool, man. There's something else you said there too that I think is really cool to zoom in on. You mentioned the importance of the day-to-day practitioner. You know, when
they are your club.
Yeah, 100%, without question, man. Your kids' class, and your day-to-day people, which is the
most clubs
99%.
Could run just on kids' class alone. Yeah.
Oh hell yeah. Oh hell yeah, they can. Absolutely. Yeah, I've seen clubs where they barely, like, if you compare the attendance of their kids' classes to the adults' classes, there's hardly any adults that even train there, and it's mostly a kids jiu-jitsu school. But
yep.
I love what you said there, man, because like the vast majority of people that do jiu-jitsu and that have grown the jiu-jitsu community are your 9-to-5 working people that
100%.
Yeah, what we call hobbyists. Like, it's their hobby, right? And and like you said, if you're seeking to open a school that's exclusive to competitors, that's really hard, man, because like you said, doing what it takes to become a professional full-time jiu-jitsu athlete, that means you're training.
You're going to be poor.
Bro, you can't work a job really. Like, you can maybe bounce at night, you can maybe bust tables at night or something, but dude, you can't train 3 days a week and do
no. And some people don't appreciate that. Like, I hear people all the time that they want to open a club that's just for competitors, and I'm like, I don't want to break your heart on this, but it's like, that's not going to work, right? Like, kids classes are huge money, right? And I don't mean huge money in the sense that you're balling. Not many jiu-jitsu club owners are balling. Again, if it wasn't for SSG, I would have shut down over Corona, right? But like, when I run Facebook ads, I have to turn off the kids' Facebook ads usually first week of the month because the class just gets full. Parents are willing to put their kids in. Kids are willing to do it. You know, the kids love it. They'll fill your mats. Adults, dude, you can run 2 months and maybe get like a few students. It's not the same. And it's because of the ego thing. Most of your adults are coming in from word of mouth. They're coming in because they're a friend of an existing student. Advertising for adults is difficult, you know? But kids, dude, parents they love putting their kids in stuff, right? So if you're running a gym, you're going to have kids. You need a soft environment where the parents of the kids know your gym is safe. And if your adults are getting their shit broken, the parents are going to talk. They're going to be like, wow, so-and-so got his arm broken and got his heel ripped off. And it's just not a good environment. You're not going to keep kids. Even keeping women too. Like, the woman retention in jiu-jitsu is fucking difficult, man, because it's a close contact sport. So we have a few girls in class right now, and I love it because when girls are in class, guys that would make off-putting jokes don't. And it makes that environment a little softer. Now, I'm not talking like you can't curse, because I curse everywhere. I curse with my parents. I just curse. It's who I am. I'm talking like making stupid jokes, you know, like saying sexist, stupid things. Like, shit like that doesn't happen when girls are around. And I love that, right? So you just got to have the right environment as a coach. And a lot of that comes down to safety. And yeah, like, the biggest part of your student base is going to be kids and hobbyists for sure.
100%. Let's explore what you were just talking about a second ago. Because, you know, you've got girls. I've got a daughter. I want my daughter to do jiu-jitsu. I want her to have
100%
live the lifestyle of pursuing jiu-jitsu. What things can be done to improve women's retention in general across the board? Do you think?
Dude, if I knew, I'd have more than like 5 girls, right? Like, our kids class, I think it's a new generation too. Our kids class has 60% girls.
Oh, wow.
So my kids class has more girls than guys.
Awesome.
And I love it. I love it because they're growing up. Like, my 12-year-old, she's a few years away from being in the adult classes. And then that's a guaranteed girl in every single adult class. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because one girl being in class that stays there will make it more comfortable for another one to come, and then another one. And if they bring their friends And then you should, as an instructor, you should want girls, because I've had students, and this is a real story. I had students that were with me for fucking 5-6 years, never taken a picture, never checked in on Facebook, never bought my gear. A girl shows up one day, takes 4 pictures, checks in twice, tags a few of her friends, and buys a t-shirt. And it's like, you know, they're motivated. They want to do stuff too. They like, it's just, the environment has to be not intimidating, because if it's intimidating for a guy to show up, and it is, I know a lot of guys that they're intimidated to show up, it could be the same. Like, you have to have a comfortable place for a girl to show up where she's not feeling out of place, right? And that's difficult. So I'm glad I have so many kids that are girls, because they're going to grow up and be so used to it, you know, like the contact, the beating up dudes, which I love. I love seeing my little girl rip apart people. Yeah, it's not easy though, man. And I think it's going to be a struggle forever, because that close contact, it is tough for some people.
Sure.
Guys and girls, not just girls, man. Like, we talked about this ego thing right at the beginning. Like, it's tough for guys. With girls, it's different, because there's so much contact. You're really in each other's personal space. And if you're rolling with a guy who in the slightest makes you feel uncomfortable during that roll, you might bounce forever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's a really good point, man. Well, I like what you said too, is the idea of kind of the domino effect. Like, if you can get one girl, one woman in your class to be really dedicated and stay there, that can kind of set the tone for other women to join as well. Next thing you know, you got this whole pocket of the team that's like all females. That's super.
Well, cool. And another thing, this is just advice for coaches. If you do have that one girl, don't make her pair up with every new girl that shows up. Because what's going to happen is she's going to feel used. You know what I mean? Like, she's going to feel like all she is to you is the trying to get another girl. Like, if you have one girl there, let her pair up with her student that she likes training with, and, you know, have the girl doing techniques with someone that you think is a safe, reliable, comfortable training partner. Because I've seen that happen where, and actually I've heard, like, I've had messages from girls and they're like, my coach just uses me to pair up with the new girls, and I don't feel like I'm learning anything. I feel like every time all I'm doing is coaching beginners. And so and that, I'm not telling you to change your ways if you're an instructor hearing me, but I've seen and heard a few girls complain about that. So you might want to think that that's not the right way to go about it. That's not what I do anymore. Typically, if I have a new girl, I just put them with my favorite guys, you know?
That's great, dude. That's a really great piece of advice. Yeah, because I could see that from the perspective of a female student. Like, imagine if you're out there
it's listening. The things you don't think about.
Yeah. Like, imagine if you show up to train and your instructor only put you with day one trial class guy. It's like
over and over and over again.
I never get to roll with the other brown belts or anything. Like, how am I going to get sharper doing this? Yeah, that's a great point, dude. Excellent. Well, Kent, man, I'll tell you what. We've reached a point of the show. You've done this before. We've reached the pummel game. It's a game I always play halfway through each episode. Some of these questions, it's basically a lightning round. Some of them are about jiu-jitsu. Some of them have nothing to do with
I'm nervous.
jiu-jitsu. Dude, you've already done this before. You're a returning champion. You're a returning pummel champion, my man. What are you nervous about? All right, question. All right. But I like to play these more than once, because sometimes we get different answers from different people. So, worst job you ever had?
Oh, I liked all my jobs, man. Oh, I don't know. I actually did like all my jobs. I can't think of a job that I didn't like. Let's go with pushing carts at a grocery store.
There you go. Yeah. How about what's a secret talent that you have that people might not know about?
Oh, a talent?
Yeah. Like
I'm really good at Pokemon Go, player versus player.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Do you explore around town with the, like, trying to find?
Oh, I play it all the time. I'm actually, like, going through withdrawals right now because I'm talking to you on my Pokemon Go device. Yeah.
So otherwise you would have it off camera, like just like finding.
Yeah, like I'd be playing right now, like
Bro, you're about that life, bro. That was a nice flex. He just pulled out a stack of Pokemon cards from right off camera. They were in arm's reach of the interview vantage point.
You got to be ready, bro. You got to be ready.
You never know when some fool wants to come around and throw some cards around. So
I'm telling you.
Have you ever ended up in a precarious place or position while looking for Pokemon? Like, you hear about people like wandering in other people's property, or like going in like employees only areas.
No, well, actually, I can tell you this. Hopefully, I don't sound like an idiot. The other day, I was driving, and if you drive under 30, you don't like it doesn't trigger the running thing. So like it doesn't. You can actually catch. And dude, a deer ran out in front of me, and I had my head down, and I almost hit it.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Which Pokemon looks most like a deer? I don't even know.
There's one called Deerling.
There you go. Yeah, you found a Deerling.
Yeah.
All right, you almost hit a Deerling. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah,
perfect. Right? That's awesome.
I'm a geek, guys. I'm a geek.
That's outstanding. I love it. What do you think is we already talked about some injuries. You mentioned your back, so I'm not going to ask you what the worst injury was. What's your favorite bad food to eat besides the noodles?
Oh, I eat a shit ton of tacos, man.
Tacos, yeah.
Yeah, I love tacos. And jelly beans. I love jelly beans.
Nice. Now, you do Jelly Bellies or do you the big fat ones?
Both, actually. I like the big fat ones, but only if you go to one of those bulk stores because they got like just better jelly beans.
Yeah. Dude, Jelly Bellies are like just amazing. It's like the food of the gods,
me and my kids, we like doing the Harry Potter ones where it's like maybe you get a booger.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. I've never had those, but I've seen. They got ones with gross flavors,
they're
right?
fucking gross. Yeah.
It's like you think it looks like a pear, but it's like a fart.
Yeah. Like what the fuck? Who came up with that? Like fuck you.
It keeps people buying them, I guess. People like playing the roulette, the taste bud roulette, I guess.
Yeah.
What do you think is your most hated position in jiu-jitsu to get stuck in?
Like for me to do to other people?
No. For you to get stuck in. Like, what do you hate getting stuck in?
Fuck. Man, I don't know. Like, I play like graveyard guard. I give up my back. I play turtle all the time. So I actually don't really have one. I let people get everywhere on me because I'm self-taught. And I'm not trying to veer off and ruin the game. But I've been giving up shitty positions forever because usually I was the best on the mat. Now I got guys who are as good as me or better than me. But forever, I've always given up my back, given up mount, given up knee on belly. So I like all of them. I know that sounds fucking whacked, but
no. Dude,
I don't have a position I don't like. I'll play anywhere.
That's great, man. No, that's obviously one of the big goals for people developing their jiu-jitsu. You want to be comfortable everywhere and having the confidence to be in any position, knowing it's not the end of the world.
Well, you know, I'm self-taught, right?
Yeah,
like right from the beginning. Yes. I haven't had an instructor, so that was actually one of the things that really helped me propel the whole time is I wouldn't just play my game and be a winner. I would tell my students up front, like, listen, I'm hoping you guys tap me out. I'm going to give you my back. I'm going to play mount. I'm going to pull. I play turtle a lot. I have a murder turtle now because I play it so much. I'll just give you my back, right? And it definitely helped me along the way because otherwise, like, if you're rolling against a white belt who's been with you for 3 months, they're never going to get your back. Yeah. So just give it to them, you know?
Yeah. Otherwise you're never sharpening that area of your game for sure.
Just wasting your time. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. What do you think?
Sorry if I ruined your game.
No, dude. No. You can totally elaborate on these things. Yeah. It doesn't have to be like just rapid fire. Who's your favorite grappler of all time?
Oh, I love Gary Tonin.
Yeah.
He's so much fun to watch. I've watched so many of his matches and I've broken down a lot of his techniques. I love Gary Tonin. Gary Tonin versus Eddie Cummings was one of my favorite matches ever.
Oh my God.
And there's so many gems. Like I think I did like 5 breakdowns just from that match alone. And like one of the boys went from mount into the legs, like he dropped back from mount, and I posted the video and everybody's like, who would do that? That's so fucking, no one good would do that. And I'm like, bitches, like, okay.
Just share the link. Just send them the link.
It's from fucking EBI, so right, I guess you're right. That shit wouldn't work Wednesday.
Exactly. Now Gary's one of my favorites. I actually just interviewed him for the first time for our 600th episode.
Nice.
He's such a fun dude, man.
That's cool.
What do you think was the scariest moment of your life?
Ooh. I don't know, man. I think going in for my back surgery.
Yeah.
You know, I don't talk about it much, but I was nervous that it wasn't going to work, and I really didn't think I could live much longer with that sciatica. I'd say that because it was like, maybe it will work, maybe it won't, but the uncertainty, yeah, I think that was probably it.
Yeah, good answer, man. Yeah, that's definitely going into any kind of major thing like that is for sure very nerve-wracking, man.
Because if I got out and I still had that pain, I was like, I don't know. I don't know about this life, bro.
That's hard. It's hard. No, I mean, like, yeah, you think about someone like living in constant agony, and the only option is, okay, do I go on like opioid painkillers and get addicted to some kind of opioids or opiates, or do I just bite down and live in horrible pain forever? So
well, and that's it. Like I never took pain medication. I didn't like taking Tylenol. I didn't like taking anything. So for me, it was like, you see that joke all the time, like the guy walks into the doctor's and the doctor's like, what's your level of pain? And he's like, oh, baseline, about a 4. He's like, baseline's supposed to be 0. Like my baseline was always like 5, 6, 7. And now it's so crazy that I feel good, because my injury for my back happened in 2001. So all of my videos, my whole marriage with my wife, all of it, I was in that steady pain. And after I got the surgery, I feel like my jiu-jitsu got better, but even like my happiness level, like my wife was like, if you would have been happy like this, we'd have like 10 kids. You know what I mean?
Because that baseball team.
Because it's just like when you have a pain level of like 5 all the time, even at your happiest, you're not as happy as you should be.
Oh, of course.
So for me, that back surgery actually did change my life because I'm so happy all the time now. And you can probably tell, like, I'm a fucking happy dude, right? Yeah. I'm happy anyway, but now it's like pre-2001 Kent, right? Like I'm really, really happy again. It's fucking cool.
That's awesome, dude. I'm so happy for you, man. Seriously, that is really outstanding, man. I'm happy that you don't have to live with all that pain anymore, and that you can just
me too
again. That's incredible, man. What do you think is your biggest phobia?
Oh, dude. You're going to make me tell this story, aren't you?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So I hurt my jaw eating. And I honestly, I don't know how. Like, I got a big fucking mouth. And I opened up to bite this fucking, I think it was a taco. And I just opened and my jaw clicked. Like, the whole thing just went. And I didn't know, and it still hurts. I didn't know what happened, right? And I used to work out west. I was a welding inspector. I would get inside pipes and tubes and boilers, and I'd be inside stuff where it's a coffin, it's a metal coffin. There is no room, and I had no problem with this, right? They send me in for my fucking MRI, and they put me in and they put a fucking sheet over my head, and I had to bite down on something because they were checking my jaw, and I was in there for like 20 seconds, and I pushed the buzzer. And they pulled me out there like, are you all right? And I take it all off. I'm like, nope, I'm not. I'm going the fuck home. And they're like, are you serious? Like, dude that walked out before you, like scrawny little dude. And I was like, yeah, I'm fucking serious. And I'm never coming back. I still don't know what's wrong with my jaw. I never fucking will. No. I will never go for another. They'll have to drug me to get me in that fucking machine. I don't know when I became claustrophobic.
That's crazy.
It must have just... Dude, I couldn't fucking do it. I started sweating. I thought I was going to die. And it's so weird because, like, why? I know there's nothing that can hurt me. I used to get inside stuff that was much scarier.
Yeah.
And the grown-ass nurse was like, is this a joke? I'm like, nah, bro, I'm fucking out. And I just left. I will never know what's wrong with my head. Unless they put me the fuck under, I am not getting back in that machine.
Dude, that's so wild, man. Yeah, that's so wild. You were in situations, like you said, it was like a coffin. Like there really was
like for hours too. Like I would get wheeled into this coffin and I had to inspect the boiler tubes above my head. And I'd be in there with like breathing apparatuses and shit for hours doing these inspections. And then they'd have to drag me back out of the hole. And I'd fall asleep. Like, I never had an issue. And then this last MRI, like, I was embarrassed to tell my wife. I got home and my mom called me and she was like, hey, how was it? I'm like, it was good. I didn't tell anybody for weeks. I was like embarrassed. Yeah, so I'm a pussy now, I guess.
Dude, claustrophobia is common, but man, it's always funny when, like, I've interviewed different jiu-jitsu. In fact, we just had Peter Frank on the show. He said he's claustrophobic. It's crazy, like, when you see jiu-jitsu guys, especially though, because we're so used to being in like tight, like close quarter,
like people mauling me, and I'm
like
fine.
Smothered. Yeah. But somehow
I don't even know when this started, but I will never go get another MRI. So I better hope I never get fucking injured again.
Oh, that's
and
crazy.
I had just got one. Dude, I was just there. So this nurse remembered me. I was there a week before getting my back MRI, but they wheeled me in my feet first.
Yeah.
So my head is out and shit. And I got the MRI. It's fine. But then they put me in head first. And I was like, nah, fuck this shit. I'm gone. I'm gone. She's like, you're joking. I'm like, I'm not fucking joking. I will never see you again.
Wow. Dude, I saw a thing not long ago that there was these guys, I guess, what do you call it? Splunkling?
Oh, no. It's spelunking. You're right.
Thank you. Okay.
But I started watching those videos because I feel like maybe that'll stop me from being claustrophobic.
Oh, no.
And I'm like this.
No, it's
I'm like watching them.
Worse.
I'm like watching them through the cracks in my fingers. Like dude's like pulling himself through and he's like, I can barely fit. And I'm like, you're fucking crazy.
Oh, dude, I saw this story where this guy, I guess he had a harness tied around
the one that got
feet.
Stuck upside down.
That was
and then they sealed it in.
Bro, that was crazy too. I know the one you're talking about. But dude, the one I saw, there was these guys that were going through a system of caves, and they were trying to figure out whether or not this one access point would lead out to the other side of this structure. And so this guy decided, hey, I'll go figure it out. And he's literally like, he can't keep his arms out, so he has to go arms to the body like a worm, and just wiggle. And so they have him tied to like a safety line, and I guess somehow it slipped. It was just they didn't have the safety line on him anymore. And he's not vertical, so he's horizontal, but he's belly down in this space that like he literally has to worm his way through. So they couldn't pull him out anymore. So he said, well, I'm already here and I can't go backwards, so I'm just going to keep going. And so it took him, I think he said 6 hours of just inching his way with his hips and his shoulders until finally, thank God, he came out on the other side, and sure enough, it did lead to another opening. But
that hurts my heart.
Bro, dude, I was sweating.
Like just hearing that story, I was...
Oh, dude, I was sweating, and at the very least, he had people who knew he was there. But man, imagine if he, you know what I mean? Imagine there's people that do that without anybody with them. They just, hey, I wonder where this leads to. It's like
I would never, ever, 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 ever do that. That's so. I heard that one story about that guy getting stuck upside down, and then they sealed it in with cement, and it's like a tribute to him now, but it's like closed forever. I'm like, that's like such a horror story.
Dude, talk about one of the worst ways to die for sure. It's awful, man.
I watch like zombie movies, horror movies. Like I watch like shit where people are getting ripped to death, and I'm like, okay, whatever. But then I hear that story, and I'm like, my nuts like shrivel up. Like,
it's horrible, dude. My big phobia is sharks. I've mentioned that 1,000 times on the show at this point. But I'm terrified of sharks. Dude, if I watch those shark cage videos, bro, I can watch. It's just like you. I have to watch through the cracks of my fingers. Like I can't see that kind of thing.
I don't care about sharks, but I wouldn't go get in a fucking cage.
Right?
Like
I couldn't pay him.
You know what I mean? Like I live on a beach. Like the ocean is like right there. It's out the window there. I live on a beach. I wouldn't go be like, hey, shark, let's be friends.
Yeah, let's go hang out. Do you guys have great whites up there? You have white sharks up there, don't you?
I think we're starting to get more. Like, there's been a lot of people, you see on like the local Facebooks, people are like shark sighting here, shark sighting there, because our water's starting to get warmer. So they are starting to come up.
Wow. And
I don't love that because we have some really great beaches, right? But I don't really think about sharks, but they're here now.
One of my things I really want to do, I've wanted to learn how to surf for a long time, and the sharks thing is the thing that's always made me say, nah, I just can't do it.
Yeah.
But where I live now, the beaches that are in Sao Paulo or on the southern portion of Brazil don't have as much sharks. In fact, there's very little sharks apparently, and there's like, I think in the last like 100 years, there's been like 4 shark attacks or something like that. So pretty good odds.
That's 4 too many.
Or too many, but the nice thing about that is there's other parts of Brazil. Like there's a city called Recife, which is one of like the shark attack capitals of the world. There's like a tiger shark breeding ground off that beach, and people get attacked like all the time. And so,
they just keep going out there.
Dude, they've got a sign every 50 feet saying, "Do not let your dog in the water and swim at your own risk. There are sharks here, and there's attacks. There's attacks all the time, and if people lose arms, people lose hands. It's crazy." Yeah, but so I guess where I live, it's supposed to be safer. But those four attacks in the last 100 years, do kind of buy, like, am I going to be number 5, you know?
Yeah. So you would be too. That's just the luck.
I know. My luck, it probably would. Exactly. Yeah. What do you think is your most hated food? We talked about your favorite bad food to eat. What's your most hated food?
Black licorice. I know that's candy, but I just the taste of it's just gross. I don't understand anybody who can eat.
You can't eat it.
I mean, it's not a food; it's a candy, but it's still no. And even like that Sambuca liquor, like back before I quit drinking, like that stuff is just piss. Like it's sick. Like I don't understand anybody. And I know some people like, oh, black licorice, you just got to get used to it. I'm like, well, I'm fucking never gonna. It's gross.
Yes. There's some things that are acquired tastes, but yeah. I like it okay sometimes. I have, you ever have like Good and Plenty's? You see those little Good and Plenty candies, like the purple and white? Yeah.
Yeah,
those are like black licorice. Yeah, those are okay sometimes.
That's fucking gross. See, okay, now I want you to delete the whole episode. We can't be friends.
It's over. You're breaking up with me, man. I can change. I can change, Ken.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, man. If you like those Good and Plenty, I'm good and gone.
Oh, that's great, dude. I'm actually getting some in the mail. I mean, there's a really cool dude from Sweden that was just here training with us, and his name's Frederick. He's going to be sending me some black licorice from Sweden, and so I'll eat it in your honor. I'm gonna take pictures and video of me eating it and just harass you. I have your number, so I'm going to harass you with pictures of me eating.
I want that. I want those pictures.
What do you think is something you spend way too much money on?
Fuck.
Oh yeah, Pokemon, of course. Yeah. You got the whole. I like how they're in the protective sleeves too. That's how you know someone.
Yeah. I don't mess around, man. I don't mess around. I got my Charizards and shit.
That's amazing. Yeah. Dude, I remember when that first came out, dude. Oh my God, did that take everybody by storm? It was crazy.
And I didn't even watch Pokemon that much when I was a kid, but I got the game on Game Boy, like, you know, because I'm old, so I had a Game Boy.
Yeah.
And I used to play Pokemon there. And then my little girl, my youngest, started watching it, and I was like, "Fuck, you want to buy some packs of it?" And then we bought way too many packs of it. So now we have like. I don't even like admitting it. Like I got like $10,000 worth of unsealed Pokemon that in the future she can sell it all in the future, you know, because this is years of us buying it together. I'm like, fucking wait till the value goes up, sell it all and buy yourself a car or something, or just keep it forever. I keep stuff. Like I'm a weirdo. Like I like keeping things like forever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm a collector.
Dude, that's amazing though, man. That's something, and you know, money well spent. If it's something that you and your kid do together and have fun.
That's how I feel about it. Yeah, she likes it. She enjoys opening the stuff. So, you know.
Yeah, I remember.
I'll take all the time I can get.
Absolutely, dude. I remember when it first came out, it was the Game Boy game. I remember that being the first one, and then they made the TV show. And the TV show, man, I still to this day I think that the Pokemon intro song is still a banger to this day. Like it is. It's a good one
for sure.
Yeah. And then they started doing the cards, and they started doing the toys, and then it went away for a long time. It went away for like forever, and then by that point,
I feel like it did. Yeah. And then I don't know if Corona brought it back or something, but
something happened. I think that
I'm good with it.
The Pokemon Go thing, I think, was a big part of bringing it back. So, yeah, that's cool. It's interesting to see like how one generation enjoys something, and then your kids' generation, they pick up on the same thing.
And it's like with Pokemon Go, like one of my favorite things about it is I don't get a lot of time off. So like between the horses and then the gear, I have a lot to do. I got to pack my orders every day. I put hay out for the horses. I have classes to teach. So I have a PlayStation 4. I don't have one of the newer ones, but like I can't really sit down and play. When I do, I like Fallout and Skyrim.
Yeah, dude.
But I get like 10 minutes and then it's fuck. I can't justify, but like with Pokemon Go, I can play for 30 seconds and then shut it off. Yeah. And I like that. I like the freedom of it. And I know I get shit on for it. People pick on me. My students pick on me about it. But it's like I can do player versus player in Pokemon Go, and I'm playing against another live person. It's like strategy because you got to figure out what they're doing versus what you're doing. And I like it. It's a little guilty pleasure, but I can just shut my phone off and go back to work. I don't have to sit down with the controller and commit a certain block of time. And I think that's my favorite part about it.
That's awesome. Yeah, yeah, it doesn't interrupt your whole day for sure. Dude,
I need something to take my brain off of all the fucking work, right? Like,
yeah. Absolutely, dude. It's so funny you said that you have a PS4 and the two games you play are Fallout and Skyrim. Dude, that's exactly my system, and those are the only two games I play. It's those two. I go back and forth.
I tried a bunch of other ones, and they're all I like.
The only other thing that I'll occasionally jump into is Call of Duty World at War. It's like the World War II.
I'm so slow, bro.
Are you? Yeah.
I'm so slow. Like, I can't aim. Like, I try. Like, I'm trying to get the person in my sights, and I'm like... Yeah. Fuck.
Just getting wrecked. Dude, you know what's funny? On some of the older Call of Duty games though, now the World War II one is part of this unfortunately. People have figured they've opened up the restrictions as far as mods and like people hacking and doing things with it. So you'll get guys that can like jump way higher than they should be able to jump, and they can shoot and aim without even having to try. So you could just be one of those guys. You could just get the mods and just
Yeah, but I wouldn't be able to do it. Like, for me, it's I don't like doing shit I didn't earn.
It's dishonorable.
And I'm that way in games too. Like, I've never, I think it's part like OCD. Like, if I start something, I want to finish it. Yeah. And if I cheat, I feel like I never finished it, you know?
100%. No, dude, don't get me wrong. Those people are the scourge of the earth. I mean, they're terrible. They're terrible human beings.
But that would definitely help my accuracy.
It would fix your accuracy issues. Exactly. That's all I'm saying. You can at least play. Yeah.
Right.
That's great. Who do you think is your favorite superhero?
Oh, dude. I don't know. I like Venom.
Venom.
I know he's a super villain, but this is like almost a shameless plug here. But I always liked Venom more than all the other movies. And I think like Tom Hardy is unreal. But then Tom Hardy bought some of my gear. Tom Hardy bought my shit.
No way. Did he really?
Dude, 4 times. Like 4 different orders. Like he owns one of everything. And the first time he bought it, I got to tell you this because this is a stupid story. So me and the wife just finished his show on Netflix. The, what's it called? I can't even remember right now. But where he's like, it's like voodoo kind of shit. Like, he's a scary motherfucker. And I'll think of the name. I will. It's just, I'm trying to think of it, so I'm forgetting. So we just finished watching that, and I never thought about the fact that he does jujitsu, right? It never, like, I know he does, and it's crossed my mind, but it never crossed my mind that maybe he'd buy my gear. And we were looking for a new barrel horse for my daughter. So me, my wife, and my daughter trailered up to New Brunswick. It's just like 7 hours away. And we were meeting up with this guy, and this guy is like, his name's Dan Northrup. He's an awesome horse trainer. The dude is like high level in horses locally. So we get there, and I'm driving, so I'm not looking at my phone. And then we get there. He hasn't come up to us yet. We're parked in the parking lot, and I see an email from TomHardy.com, and I'm like, that's weird. Like, I didn't subscribe to anything. But then it turns out it was because when you buy something from my site, it sends you an email, and that was the autoresponder. And then I see Tom Hardy's name, and he ordered like one of everything, and I'm like, dude, I threw my fucking phone, and I'm jumping up and down. So when this locally famous horse trainer starts walking up to us, my wife is like, "Oh, don't mind my husband. He's crazy." I'm bouncing. I'm like jumping. It's just, and then he ordered a custom tie-dye hoodie. So I had to find out what colors he wanted. So I messaged the fucking like 4 million like Tom Hardy on Instagram. He fucking responded.
No,
like I've had conversations with Venom, like my favorite superhero. Incredible. Man, it's like, it's so cool, and he's so normal. Like I never really heard anything about him before, whether he was or wasn't. He's so fucking normal. Our conversations were normal. Like we talked about his back injury and my back injury, and like he's a normal dude.
That's awesome.
And he bought a whole bunch of my gear, and I don't want to say it like I don't know. I don't want to seem like I'm bragging about it, because I'm just like,
no, dude,
I'm actually like,
dude, that's awesome, man. Seriously, no,
I'm blown the fuck away.
Dude,
like,
you work your ass
so
off on making your brand, and you got someone
just of all people.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, like, dude, crazy.
That's
and
incredible.
Like, I've had a few like celebrities now buy my gear, and it blows my mind every time, because I still feel like I'm just a nobody. Like I know I have followers on Instagram, but I'm like, I don't get noticed in my fucking hometown. Like people aren't like, oh, look at him, he's that guy. So it's like I'm still like a nobody. So then I see a message from him and I'm like, that's so fucking.
That is awesome.
Like that's crazy.
That's so cool. Well, dude, that's a result of your hard work, man. It's a result of a lot of hard work. By the way,
dude, he must like my gear.
Hell yeah, of course. Yeah, he's buying custom versions of it and different models.
Like if you buy something once, it's like, okay, you're testing it, right? But if you buy something 4 times, you're sold, right?
Into it. You're into
it. I have customers that have made 18, 19 orders. So even though it's still like a small business, like it has to be small. It's still only me running it. Even though it's still a small business, if you have someone buying 18 orders, the quality's there, you know?
Absolutely it is.
So,
100%. Dude,
we'll see. I hope it blows up.
The shirt that you're wearing right now, is that still for sale?
Yeah,
I'll buy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy one today. Yeah,
I love. This is my favorite, and I told a few people the color combination. Like I wanted the midnight navy with the bubble gum, and they were like, "That just doesn't sound right." And I'm like, "You fucking wait. This is my favorite shirt." That's
dope. It looks really cool, dude. I'll pick one up tonight for sure. For sure.
Thank you.
Of course, man. If you could have a superpower, what superpower would you choose?
Oh man, healing.
Yeah, healing.
I'd heal my hands and my neck and my fucking everything. Healing for sure.
Your jaw'd be all better. No more MRIs.
Oh, yeah. God.
That's great. Final question for the pummel game, man. This is very appropriate for you. If a zombie apocalypse breaks out right now, what's the first thing you do?
Oh, fuck. Do we still have cell phones? Like, is it before? Did it just break out?
I'm going to say that you have 15 minutes before all cell towers and power lasts.
All right. I'm going to text all of my friends and family that they all have to drive out here. Okay. We're going to fortify the fucking horse barn. And I have a bunch of guns. I'm going to get all my friends with guns to come. We're going to make this whole little area into our little commune. And we have horses, so when the gas runs out, we're good to go. Yeah, I think I'd do just fine, man. I got a lot of guns.
Yeah, I think you'd be set up better than most for sure up there. I think like Nova Scotia, Texas, Nevada, places anywhere like that where it's just real wide open, like lots of land, lots of weaponry. You're in good shape. So
well, people don't realize how big Canada is too. Like not just Nova Scotia, but dude, Canada itself. I can't tell you where I heard this, but the study said that you could fit every person in the entire world in Canada.
Wow.
Like that's how big Canada is. Like it's massive, right? Huge. That's probably accounting for all the bullshit up north too, but it's that big, right?
That's insane. That's insane. Well, definitely a good place to be. Yeah, definitely a good place to be if there was a zombie apocalypse. So,
did you see the movie World War Z?
I didn't see World War Z, man. I haven't had a chance to watch it, but I've seen.
Okay, well, I don't want to ruin it on you, but at the end when they go to the base camp, it's in Nova Scotia.
Oh, is it real? Oh, you know what? You told me that last time we were on the show. Yeah, you told me that last time. That's right. That's right. And they filmed it up there, right? That's incredible. That's incredible. Yeah, I was just talking about. I can't remember which guest I was talking about this with. But my favorite zombie movie is 28 Days Later. That's still my favorite.
Yeah.
But
I have it right out there.
Dude, World War Z is something I have to watch. I still haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it's great. It's a good movie.
Yeah. Terrible excuse for a zombie fan that I haven't seen it yet. Kent, that was the end of the pummel game. Congratulations. I think you're now a 3-time champion and you got your double underhooks. So congratulations, man. So Kent, let me ask you, man, let's talk about wrist locks. Highest percentage position that you land them in. Where do you
close guard?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Nice.
Close guard for sure. Yeah. I half guard too. It's just as long as I'm on bottom and my leg is at your hip, usually what I do is I've been being a douche about it. I push on people's chins, and then they grab. And when they grab, I can fold the wrist over, right?
Yeah.
And I can pull it right down to where the back of your arm is stuck on my leg. And it's a very high percentage wrist lock for me. And I hit people with it, even in transition, like even in passing, like you're going to be trying to touch my hands, right? So even if I'm not pushing on your face, if I'm just reaching and you grab, the second someone grabs right here, I'm trying a wrist lock on them. Oh. And if it's one of my students, I either get them or they laugh at me because I try it on everyone. But we have a local MMA organization, and one of the fighters messaged me. He was like, "Hey man, can I come down and train with you?" after my fight. He was the main event. He won it. Great guy. And he showed up and I wrist locked him twice. And he was like, I'm the guy who says wrist locks are fake. and he's like, and you just fucking wrist lock me. And he was really good. He was awesome to have. He was really fun to roll with. But I just got those dirty, sneaky wrist locks, right? And it's hard to even consider them wins sometimes because they're so stupid. But wrist locks are wrist locks, man. Like they're I don't know if they'll ever be as like effective as like heel hooks in the rear naked choke, but there's some positions where when you get it locked on, tap or it breaks. And I'm not going to break your wrist. Like it's never going to happen at my club. But if you're in a competition and you're against someone that watched one of my videos and he hits you with that fully locked in wrist lock, it's going to hurt.
Yeah, no, dude, wrist locks, they come on quick. They come on real quick. And they catch a lot of people by surprise too. Like you're not thinking that you know, a lot of times it's something you weren't expecting and then it comes on as quick. So all of a sudden it's almost kind of like getting electrocuted. You're just like, whoa, like what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
And if you're rolling with someone you like, there's usually a laugh during it. Like, you know, you're like, oh, fuck you, you know? Yeah. Dude, I love it. I find them super rewarding because even not just rewarding, but like you got to be ready for them. So I think I'm doing my students a service by, you know, making it so their wrists are unwrist lockable. Yeah, yeah. Well, dude, it's such an effective thing to do, and you once you start understanding the mechanics of them, you start seeing them from everywhere. And what do you think are some of the most like unexpected places that you've had success with wrist locks? At the end of a submission, like it's not even unexpected. It's just, I think, underutilized. Like if I'm going for an arm bar, your wrist is right there, right? So while I'm stretching your arm out and you're thinking hitchhiker or, you know, like stabbing it up, running, doing all this shit, if I just refocus and bend your wrist, right? Like why not? Or I like them from triangles. Just go for the wrist instead. Reverse triangle, grab the wrist. Kimura, grab the wrist. I mean, like, it almost seems like you're rubbing it in, but you might not have finished that sub. Yeah. Like, people escape from all of these positions. So there's nothing saying that your Kimura that you had locked in was guaranteed. I've seen some flexy motherfuckers, like, front roll out of these things, just cup their fucking wrist. Like, finish it right there. Yeah. So I got that's one of the things I filmed with BJJ Fanatics. And a lot of my wrist locks are, they're not weird. They're just like, I think like good, solid positional wrist locks. So you guys should go buy my shit. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Wrist locks, like I said, it really is amazing. Like all the places that you start to realize they can be done from. I train with I actually train with a black belt here named Paulo Bueno. And Paulo hits wrist locks in places I never would have conceived that I could be hit with. Nice. Dude, I'll take his back and I'll have a seatbelt and he's wrist locking me. And I'm like, what the? Yeah. Or I'll have a hand in his collar. I'll have a hand in his collar, like about to collar choke him, and he wrist locks me. It's like, dude, what the hell? So there's some really cool ones. There are, man. It's a very diverse, and man, if we're in the game of attacking the human anatomy, you know, it's just another joint to attack. It's like Pete the Greek says, why would you ignore 0.5% of the human body? Yeah, really though. I do a technique called the Vulcan, and like, cause I'm a geek, I'm a Star Trek geek, and I do this only when I have like complete control. And I separate, I hold here and I like start separating the fingers. And some of my students are like, is that like real? And I'm like, yeah, man, it's 100% IBJJF legal. And yeah, so like if I can get a wrist lock, I'll get the position and then I'll start pulling the fingers apart and do my students hate me? Yeah. Well, dude, speaking of people hating you guys, if you're looking to if you have too many friends and you're looking to thin the herd a little bit, check out Kint's Instructional. He just filmed it with us. It's called Wrist Locks and Other Things to Get You Unfriended, and it's available right now at bjjfanatics.com. I think it's the best name, right? That's like one of the top three. That's the best name, right? Unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievably good. I think I win. I think I win the naming competition. You do. Right, you do. There. That one was a solid choice. I hope that sells because I really think more people should be smashing wrist locks. Yeah, for sure.
For sure. It's definitely a viable and readily available technique if you know how to spot them. So, Kent, what are some of your major goals for 2024, man? What are some things you hope to accomplish by the end of the year?
I'd like to double my class. We're still like, it's still lingering Corona here, right? Like people, and now everybody's sick. Like people are getting sick all the time. So people are worried about going out in public. I'd like to double my class base. I want to hit 100K on Instagram there. I mean, it's like that would just be cool, right? Like my kids think I'm famous and that would just add to it. I want SSG to blow up. I want people to keep buying my shit. I think it's really quality gear. Like the only reason it exists in the first place is because I wanted good, solid gear for my students. And then people online were like, hey, will you sell me some of that? I never intended on starting a gear company for selling to the public. It was always just supposed to be for my club. That's why like Zombie Proof and Supernatural Survival Gear, like it was just a joke, right? But I would love to see that blow up even more. It's good. It's doing good. It's paying for my lifestyle, but and I don't mean my lifestyle. Like I'm not like snorting nose beers and shit. I don't have a fancy. I'm not like rich. It's good. I like it, but I'd love to see it blow up. Like I said, I'd love to be rich. Maybe I'll start doing nose beers. Who knows?
I would love to see that. I would love to see like start just like blowing up with your shirts, and then all of a sudden it's like he's been on a bender for like 6 months. What's
that fucking? Do you remember that video on YouTube where it's like, what's your plans? The guy's like, I'm gonna blow up and act like I don't know nobody.
Like a riff-raff, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's what I want. I want to get rich, and then I'm going to quit jiu-jitsu. I'm going to if I get like rich, I'm just going to, all I'll do is post screenshots of me going, fuck you. That'll be every picture. Yeah.
Just peeling out.
I quit Instagram. I quit jiu-jitsu. I'm letting every horse free.
Just like gain a ton of weight and just peel out in Lambos and stuff.
Yes.
Dude,
I'll look like Tom Cruise in that movie where he had the big fucking... Yeah.
You know who's been on a good one is Conor McGregor. Like, dude, every video I've seen of Conor for the last 6 months is him just like high somewhere, like talking but, like, really close to somebody. Yeah.
Right? Good for him. I don't understand the hate, right? This is one of those things. I don't understand the hate. I understand haters exist, but like this dude worked his fucking head off, got what he wanted, and now he's enjoying it. Like, fucking, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares if he ever comes back to fighting? He gave us some of the most entertaining fights and lead-ups to fights that we've ever had, ever. And people are still willing to bitch at the guy? Like, fuck off. Yeah. He's awesome. Whether you like him or don't like him, he brought more eyes to that sport than most people. People are just willing to bitch, right? And a lot of people don't realize, like, if people bitch at me for something, I'll do more of it. You know, like the whole wearing the hoodie thing, that wasn't supposed to be a forever thing. Yeah. That was because I blew my AC joint and I was trying to stay warm. And then people are like, why are you wearing a hoodie? I'm like, fuck you, bitch, I'll wear two.
Yeah, double hoodie.
Right? Like, well, I don't like the loose shorts when I'm already wearing spats because like, why dirty two things? So I'm wearing spats and people are like, oh my God, why are you wearing spats? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Put shorts on. So I started wearing Valetudo shorts. Like, fuck you, I'll show more of my leg.
We can get we get real uncomfortable if you keep complaining. Dude,
I'll make it fucking weird, man. Like, I don't care. It's like, and people don't realize, like, I wear cups, right? Like, I won't roll without wearing a cup because I got kneed really hard in the nuts doing judo. And like, I was at like the pissing blood stage. Like, that's how bad it was. Oh, no. I was going for an overhead throw and dude came down on me. So I don't roll, I don't train, anytime you see me and you're like, wow, dude got a nice dick, it's a cup, right? Like it's a plastic cup, guys. It's not my dick. And people are like, oh, I can't believe you're not wearing shorts over your spats. And I'm like, if you want to do the math on it, I have Valetudo shorts and then a plastic cup. So technically my dick's further away from you than someone who's wearing spats and shorts. Because that's just two little pieces of fabric, right? Like, I got my dick covered by plastic against someone with shorts. You can like frame on that and like full rod it. Like, and why does that even matter to you guys? Like, you shouldn't even be thinking about that shit. You should just be trying to kill each other. I don't get it. I get a lot of hate though. Like, a lot of people hate the Veletudo shorts. So I'll wear tighter ones. Like, I just don't get people. Everybody just wants to hate someone. And I think it's because they're either bored or unhappy in their own lives. Join jiu-jitsu. That'll make you a little happier. And I don't know, man, like, find a friend that I don't even know what advice to give you. If you're a hater, you're doing something wrong, because you can't make progress if you're thinking about other people and what they did. You got to think about yourself.
Yeah. Dude, that was a wild ride from Conor McGregor's partying lifestyle to my dick. Yeah, we went on a full.
That was right around, eh? Yeah, but it's all about haters, right? Conor McGregor should be able to enjoy everything. He never has to fight again. That motherfucker brought eyes, you know.
No, dude, I've always been a big fan of Conor, for sure, man.
Yeah.
Well, folks, unfortunately, we're fresh out of time. Ken, it's always a blast getting to chat with you, man. I appreciate you bringing such a great conversation to the table every time you're on the show. You're welcome back anytime, obviously, anytime you want to come back on.
All right, let's schedule it for tomorrow then.
Let's do it, man. Tomorrow at 7 a.m., good? I'm just going to pick like the most obnoxious time to drag you out of bed for saying that.
I would have said, yes, I'm always up, man. I don't sleep well.
Yeah, you got to feed the horses, man. You got to be up early, right? Yeah. Excellent. Well, man, you're welcome back anytime. For anyone out there that wants to keep up with Kent, it's real easy to do so. He's active on Facebook. He's got an athlete page there, so you can follow him there. He's also very active on Instagram. It's The Kent Peters on Instagram. If you're not following him there, you're missing out on a lot of good content. He makes lots of good posts, lots of technique.
And you can actually message me anytime. I do respond.
Super responsive.
No dick pics, though.
Yes, please, guys. Please.
No dick pics.
Yeah, he gets enough of them. That's enough. Knock it off.
The mailbox is full. Yeah, it's too much.
Enough of the shenanigans, people. Yeah. He's also active on Twitter, which it's X now. Is Kent Peters is his name on X. TikTok. He's got a great TikTok page as well. Kent Peters. YouTube is Zombie Proof. Make sure you guys find his channel, hit subscribe, and hit the little bell icon to get notified when he adds new videos.
And buy my shit.
And buy his shit, guys. The website is supernaturalsurvivalgear.com. It's where all his apparel for jiu-jitsu is located. If you guys are ever traveling through Nova Scotia, he's got a great academy up there with a great group of people. Zombie Proof Jiu-Jitsu Academy in Cape Breton. So if you guys are ever up that way, drop in. If you can't make it up there, you guys can learn from him anywhere in the world here at BJJFanatics.com. We discussed today in depth his wrist locks instructional, which again is called Wrist Locks and Other Things to Get You Unfriended. He also recorded 3 other instructionals, which are going to be dropping as well. Leg drag heel hook system, aggressive bottom side mount, and murder mount. So keep your eyes peeled on BJJFanatics.com for those to drop. And that's going to do it for this episode, everybody. I really appreciate you tuning in. Please stay tuned for the next episode of the BJJ Fanatics podcast. Dude, how did you do that?
I didn't.
You didn't do the fireworks thing?
Dude, did thumbs up do it? No, that just happened.
Bro, that was crazy. Did you see that too?
I seen it, yeah. I thought you did it.
No, what the hell was that?
Could the thumbs up have done it?
I don't know. What the Oh, dude, what? I had no, hang on.
Please do it. Please do it.
Come on, man. Oh, it's bullshit. Yours does it, mine doesn't.
I don't understand.
That's
what the
fuck? That's so ridiculous, bro. It recognizes your thumbs up. Dude, AI is getting nuts.
Dude, that's crazy.
That is so funny. All right, guys, stay tuned for the next episode. Appreciate you tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.